Okay, Mr. Chairman, you're live.
Ready? Okay, good evening and welcome to this meeting of the Deep Creek Watershed Board of Zoning Appeals for February 17th, 2022. The meeting is now called to order. At this time, we ask that you please turn off all cellular devices. I am Board Chair Bruce Swift. Board members in attendance tonight are to my left Michael Beard and Steve Nagy, and to my right Bill Ingram and Zoning Administrator Bruce Metz. We are your Deep Creek Watershed Board of Zoning Appeals. We are appointed by the Garrett County Commissioners and serve at their pleasure. The purpose of this board is to provide competent interpretation and full equitable application of the Deep Creek Watershed Zoning Ordinance. We have a quorum tonight, so we will begin. Gentlemen, you should have received in your packet a copy of the minutes from our last meeting. If you have reviewed them and have no additions or corrections, I ask for a motion to approve as written.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion, a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. We'll now move on to the public hearing portion of our meeting tonight. This is a quasi-judicial proceeding. All board decisions are based on the provisions outlined in the zoning ordinance. The board respectfully requests that all who intend to testify tonight be familiar with the ordinance and limit your testimony to only information relevant to these proceedings as outlined in the ordinance. Any persons intending to testify tonight will be sworn in. For the benefit of those in attendance, which isn't many, as well as those watching online, we request that you step up to the microphone to my left when testifying. The application will be read into record. We only have one tonight, which is a variance. Correspondence received by the zoning office, either by written or electronic correspondence, will be read into the record. Testimony and exhibits, if any, will be submitted by the applicant or their representative, followed by testimony of other parties in favor of the application. Testimony and exhibits, if any, of parties opposed to the opposition will be submitted. At the conclusion of opposition testimony, the applicant will be given the opportunity to rebut. At this point, the testimony portion of our proceeding is complete and no further testimony will be accepted. The board will then enter into deliberation. The board has up to 10 days to render its decision if needed, but every effort will be made to come to a decision tonight. Decisions by this board can be appealed to the Circuit Court of Garrett County for a period of 30 days from the date of the decision. So tonight we have one case. It is VR 827. Bruce, would you like to read our application?
VR 827 is an application submitted by Robert McCoy for a variance to allow the construction of a 26 by 28 attached garage to within 5 feet of the side property line and to within 37 feet of the front property line. The property is located at 645 Summit Drive, tax map 59, parcel 493, lot 33, grid 7, and is zoned Lake Residential 2. And I do have one letter from Mr. Edward Guerra, who is the neighbor to, I believe, the left of this property, 623 Summit Drive. And he and his wife Kathleen are in support of this variance with the stipulation that it is not to extend within to further than 5 feet into the property line on the side, and that no trees on their lot or 5 feet from their lot would be disturbed. And I believe Mr. Rich Skipper is here to present the case for the McCoys.
Mr. Skipper, would you step up to the microphone and as I swear you in? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in the testimony you're about to give to the Deep Creek Watershed Board of Zoning Appeals?
I do.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Can you use the little one there, Mr. Skipper? The little microphone there, please.
Is that the one you want?
It's hot, yes.
It's hard.
Thank you. Thank you.
Not that big one. Okay. Have you all seen the letter that Mr. McCoy
We all have it,
You all have a
yes.
copy of it? Being in Alaska, I can fully understand why he didn't, want to make the trip as well. He exhibited a lot of fear of the COVID situation, flying and back and forth. If you've all read it, I was going to have Bruce read it into the record if necessary, but he states his case for what he wants to do and why he wants to do it. Taking a purely vacation type setting and turning it into a full-time residence. That is the basic need that he has for the garage. And if you'll notice on the site plan, y'all have a copy of that also?
We do.
Okay. At the time we did this, he was proposing an 18 by 43 addition on the north side of the house. That has been scrapped at this time, and he is attempting to do something there, probably widen it out, but shrink it back so that he's gonna meet his 40-foot setback on that side. Did you all have the opportunity to go to the lot?
We did,
Yes,
we visited
we
today.
Okay. At first blush, if you look at the site plan and look at the overall lot, it appears that there's all kinds of places for this guy to be, other than where he wants to be. But if you go to the lot, you really quite quickly understand that this is the only portion of the lot that is satisfactory to do any kind of building on at all. Matter of fact, if he does anything to the north of the property, you saw the ravine that's on that side. We first thought about putting the garage on that side, but the ones that's in construction and been around construction understands that when you do a garage floor and the back end of it is now 12, 14 feet out of the ground, you got a lot of fill, a lot of problematic situation there in creating a garage that would fit in that area. So therefore he came up with this plan, and he has been working in hand with the Sky Valley Association over there. They gave him permission on the site plan. It shows a culvert to be relocated. It has been relocated. It's more over to the right on the site plan where that lightning bolt goes through, right to the right of the telephone pedestal. It has been removed and put out there. The other situation that's involved there is the well on that side. If we were to attempt to put the garage on that side of the building, in order to have the entrance into the garage, you're going to be contending with that well location. In talking with the Guerras, they like the idea of the garage on this side because it, in essence, screens, if you saw where their house set over there on the side, it screens the going to Cummings from the McCoy house from their property. And at the same time, it screens what's going on at their property from people going in and out at the McCoy property. So that's one of the big reasons they're in favor of doing this. It actually acts as a screening for them. If I've got here, and you can pass it around, and you may have noticed, this is a part of the recorded plat of this lot with all the red scribbling on it is lot 33. That's Bob McCoy's. Then you got 34, 35, and 36 there. In other words, Summit Drive at this point, this is the last lot on the left entering into a major cul-de-sac. There are 3 other properties there that is served by that cul-de-sac. In other words, cul-de-sac is a dead end. So there's a total of 3 people that's going to, on a regular basis, that go by this property. Very, very limited amount of people. 2 of the properties are already improved. And the other property was in the process. We were doing a site plan on it, GSAC, the big one up on the hill, 36. We're not sure about where they're going with that. It all depends on the outcome of the divorce. one of those situations. So with that, it is not going to be injurious to the neighborhood to present or to approve this variance as far as the 40-foot from the setback. And as far as the part of the ordinance that is concerned about quality of light and air, the very thing that the JIRA's, it's an improvement for them on that situation. The practical difficulty and hardship in this situation is the lot and the original location, although it is a fantastic location. Anybody get a chance to go up on the deck in the back?
No, we didn't.
Oh my, I mean, the view, you're looking over top waterfront greens at Glendale Road and the fire tower on top.
I saw
What
that.
a view across there, you know? They did a, but that wasn't necessarily the reasoning. The reasoning was this is the only place they could build a house in here. Now, I think Triple S is the one who built this house originally. He's the one who's supposedly going to do the garage. I don't know how that septic is working in the back. If you run around behind, there's a standpipe and there's 30 foot of fill. And you know, septic doesn't work under fill. And the only thing I know is that they must be raising that standpipe as they bring levels of fill in there, and the septic tank is down there. Now that won't be addressed in this addition because of no living space in it, as far as the health department is concerned, no bedrooms or anything like that. So with that said, the practical difficulty and hardship was what you saw out there. It is the nature of the lot itself. And I think the need has been described very adequately by Mr. McCoy in his letter as to why he wants to do this. I think that says just about everything. I'll try to answer any questions you may have.
Rich, I have one question. Come over here for a second to the plan. Am I doing this right? This is the 26-foot way and this is a 28-foot way.
Yes.
Where's the garage door at? We never got anything that's going in, or what are they doing here? What are they thinking, sir?
They were planning on coming in here.
So the garage door is going to be in this area here.
Yes. Yes.
So it's really only a single car garage, even though it's 26 by 28.
Right, and overlaps. And let's get back.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
just
And
so
the
that
main
the
reason-
people on broadcast can
Okay.
hear you.
The main reason for it overlapping the building as much as it is was for that purpose. I mean, it's going to have a connector to get into the building. Totally.
So there's going to be an entrance from the garage addition into the existing home.
Correct.
There'll be a door there. Okay.
And the reason that it couldn't go further, if you noticed out there, was the windows. That's as far down along the building that we can attach the garage to it without covering windows. Because we could have, I mean, what are we at? We're asking for 37.63, so another 2.5 feet would have got us back past the 40-foot setback. But at that point, we'd have been blocking windows in the existing house. And that poses a problem for the existing house as it is. That's the rationale.
Well, that's one of the things we were talking about, why you couldn't move it back to 2.5 feet and get to 40. And then we would be looking at one variance instead of two.
Right, and I totally understand. Now, the one thing I did not say was, and he pointed out in his letter, is that a detached garage is eligible to be within 5 feet of the line. And that's one of the things that the ordinance didn't address in these most recent things is the difference between a detached and attached. Because it would be the same structure if you put it there detached, and it'd be fine for the side yard. I think side yard setback here is no real hard. I mean, I don't feel that it should be a big problem. But the big concern is that detached garages or attached garages are more likely to become part of the living area. In other words, finishing off a bunk room upstairs and this, that, and the other thing. And first thing you know, you've got a house out next to it. It's a detached garage. I don't know where Mr. McCoy would stand.
Yeah, that's part of the problem we have. We like a plan to tell us what's going on. We just see a square here.
We did not get a building plan. No
We
elevations.
didn't either. The only thing we got was the.
Yeah, so we have a square here. It doesn't even show us, like I had to ask you where the garage door was.
Okay.
And for clarification, Steve, I'm sorry to interrupt. the entrance into the garage is going to not be facing the road? It's going to
No,
be
it's gonna
coming
be in the side.
perpendicular, okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
why I wanted to know.
Utilizing the existing parking area that was in there.
Yeah.
That's basically the plan.
So he's gonna come around that tree, go straight into the garage door.
Okay.
And then on the part that's overlapped on the house, there'll be an entryway into the garage from
Yeah.
the house directly. And they're hoping to be able to get the ground manipulated there now they've got the culvert ditch gone, so that the floor of the garage will be approximately the same elevation as the first floor of the house.
So to the best of your knowledge, there is not a second floor on this structure?
Not, to the best of my knowledge, there's not. And yeah, I did ask Eugene Shreves from Triple S, and he said it would be your normal
Hip roof.
hip roof that's going on it. They may finish it, but there's no intention, for storage, to have a floor on it. But there's no intention.
So it would be an added crust through it.
Right.
Do you know if there are any plans for it to be plumbed?
No, electricity, of course, but
Right.
I don't know of any plumbing. Again, we didn't have a set of plans, just the dimensions that they wanted to have on there. It would have been nice to have a set of plans.
Yeah. Because he's not gonna be able to get like a 9 or 10 foot wide garage door in there at the most, with the way it's laid off on here. He's not gonna be able to get much in there, so it's a single car garage with a lot of storage.
A lot of storage.
A lot of storage. And I don't mind the 28 and I don't mind the 5 foot. I'm a little more concerned on the 40 foot.
Right.
And Rich said there's a window down there, but windows have been moved before too. Yeah.
But knowing now that he's coming in that way, that 3 feet might get a little more important.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
that's why
'Cause I was,
Exactly.
I was thinking we could move that 3
If we were
feet.
coming in from street side.
it'd be a different story.
Yeah.
But now we're coming in around the tree and it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
He needs that room because if he has a 9 or 10, he had to need 13 feet, he need 15 foot sticking out there past the house to make it work with a 9 foot door roughly.
It would have probably been good to have the garage there for his, did you notice his pickup?
Yes.
It's been sitting there since last winter, when we were down there.
I noticed there was still ice built around it. This hasn't moved in a long
That first stake up at the top, I had to take a bullpen and sledgehammer to get that thing to the ground. And then right across the ditch on the other side, and there's no frost in the ground there at all. This here is frozen, it's frozen 1.5 to 2 foot deep.
It's frozen. Well, like I said, he shows it on here, he's going to have to do something with the drainage. That culvert's not gonna work well.
They've already done that.
Well, see, the culvert's going now.
Yeah, there's still a mound, like a swale
Yeah,
there or
yeah,
something.
that's, I said before about manipulating that in there, because they're gonna have to cut it down.
Yeah, well, to make it, it couldn't even come down to the house height to make it work right for him, I see there. Yeah. But that, the big point to me was I wanted to know where the garage door was.
And the key is, I was sort of skeptical, I don't know, you all had to deal with the Sky Valley Association, a lot of times they're pretty hard to deal with. But they seem to be bending over backwards. I mean, they granted him permission to change the culvert and to manipulate the ground in there and do everything. I mean, they've worked very well. I think it says something about who he is and what he's been in the neighborhood so far. I think.
Well, he has a pretty good sized culvert on the other side of the well anyhow.
Well, that's the one they just moved out there.
Is that what they did? They
Yes.
replaced the one he took
Yeah.
out there. I got you.
Ray Handline did that
Okay.
about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago.
All right, Rich, you got anything else to add?
No, any questions, I'll be glad, but don't want anything left
Anybody?
unsaid.
I don't have any questions.
I got mine answered, I know what it is.
All right, we appreciate it.
All righty.
Doesn't look like we have any opposition, so we'll go right into deliberation.
It looks pretty empty.
Yeah. My concern was asking for the 2 variances.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing now the layout of it, and it does make more sense to me to enter the garage from that way, like you said, come around the existing driveway.
It's gonna save the trees on there. The other guy asked to save all the trees he could.
gonna
They ain't much, but there's a few trees there.
It's going to be less disturbance overall, and seeing as we don't have, I mean, I agree with testimony that it's, it's steep and, odd shaped and all that stuff. My only hang up was, the 157.165B, that we should be sparingly exercised. These variances were supposed to hand out sparingly. I think this is probably reasonable. I guess this
I
is
agree with you
a
too,
reasonable
and,
use.
with the garage coming on the side, and the other thing, the location,
Mhm.
where it's at.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not like Main Street or anything, it's clear up on top of, end of a cul-de-sac
Mhm.
on there.
And
And
no opposition.
none of the neighbors seem to have opposition either to it, and the neighbor
Opposition
next
to it.
door even seemed to be happy with it, so, on there.
I would like to see us put a stipulation on it that no living space though.
Well, I was
Seeing as
going
we
to
don't
suggest
have-
that
seeing as we
either-
don't
I
have
have
it
that written
drawn.
down as well.
Yeah, either an attic truss, that's on, the most, you don't want me to say, you don't want me to say, but an attic truss, or just a square down the middle of the roof.
Yeah, without any elevations on it, I mean,
That's
we've
our
got
problem.
to take some precautions in that area.
Yeah. So,
So, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve it with the restriction on the second floor.
Of no living space?
Yes.
Should we just say no living space, period?
Correct.
Right, in
I
this
don't mind
structure.
storage is one thing, but no
Mhm.
living
Right.
spaces.
Yes,
Now take care of all plumbing and everything like that.
correct.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved.
You long-winded person.
Yeah, that was all you.
Our
You're no
next
Karen
meeting
Myers.
is,
You're no Karen Myers.
our next meeting is March 17th, guys, just so you know. Do you have any cases for next month yet?
Great to see you, Rich.
Thank you.
Rich, take care, buddy.
All right, have a good one.
Good job.
Thank you.
VR 827.
We're still live.
It's going to be an irregular job. Yes, yes. Yes. Favor. Yes. 2/17/2022.
Today's still the 17th?
Yes, sir.